Alright, so we have the memory power now, which as you've probably guessed at this point is just another platforming gimmick. We will use it for one skip coming up here in a minute though. Coming into this next fight, we're going to see if we have enough XP for our next set of upgrades. It's a little bit random if you do or not. I do. So we'll go ahead and get Energy 8 and Ice 4. If you don't, immediately close out of the menu, do the fight just like normal. Keep an eye on your XP as the fight goes on to see if you get your next upgrade. If you don't, you'll definitely get it in the fight after this. As you might guess, we're just going to use ice to kill everything in our path. Hug the wall here and jump, just faster than wall running. Now we meet our first giant. They're really easy. You just hop between their legs and ice them down. You're supposed to hop on their back for a cinematic kill, but it's just faster to keep hitting them. Keep an eye out for those heftier enemies, the guys right next to me right now. They have a bad habit of wandering around during this fight, and a lot of times when you think you've killed everyone, there's actually one of them hiding behind a pillar or something, so just try and keep an eye on them. Reload once you get the cutscene. Then we're going to do that skip I mentioned. We're going to turn around here. We're going to place ourselves just past that line on the ground there where that separates the vases from us. We're going to do a rewind trick right here. We're going to wall climb. You saw how close I was to not making that jump. That's why I specifically mentioned where you should place yourself. And then you just solidify this underneath your feet, and we keep going. That skips that room. Right here, instead of the curtain, you can just jump down. Cancel out of this wall run so you don't use the curtain. And now we have an important skip coming up, so try really hard not to waste any energies in this hallway. If you don't have 2 when you get here, go ahead and reset. You can run over these blades when they're at the bottom, but it's pretty risky and I don't recommend it. Be careful with your jump placement right there. If you land in between those 2 bottom bricks, then the prince will just wall run and fall and he won't grab on. So once you get up here, turn around, jump over here, and grab yourself 2 blue orbs. If you don't get it from there, you can get the last one from up here. Just like that. And now we're going to run over here. So the way this skip works is it uses a glitch called Mega Jump. Basically, when you're clipping inside of certain objects in this game, you can mash jump to shoot way into the air. We're going to clip inside the throne right there. So basically walk towards it, and right before the prince is going to come in contact with it, whirlwind twice while holding forwards. It should look like this if I can pull it off. That's what it looks like when it works. I want to mention there's an invisible barrier inside of this chair, and if you end up on the wrong side of it, you can just roll to get over here into the corner. So unfortunately, this is a bit of an RNG trick. It's hard to tell if it's going to work or not. Basically, mash jump, and if it works, that happens. If it doesn't, rewind and try again. But basically, we jumped way up in the air, and we grabbed onto that ledge. Drop onto the curtain, and then jump off the curtain to land right here. Skip all the enemies.
You see? What did I tell you?
We're coming up on one of my least favorite clips in the game. It's every time I think I have it down consistently, then I end up wasting a minute and a half on it in a run, so do practice this one and find what works for you. First, we've got a little bit of platforming and a small fight. Had to reset there because my controller died. Sorry about that. Okay, so at the beginning of this fight you should have enough XP for your next upgrade, which is the power attack upgrade. And you'll see just how much damage we do with that. This giant will be in his cutscene position before he even gets out of the ground. Now just use basic attacks to take out the scarabs. We're gonna reset checkpoint after this, so use as much ice as you like. You can actually even use whirlwinds to take them all out at once, like that. When you hit checkpoint, reload. So now, as soon as you skip that cutscene, that's the door we're going to clip through, by the way. As soon as you skip that cutscene, jump to the right to get a vase, to get a blue orb. Then we're going to kill 2 of the orange spawner guys, and I will explain what we do after that. Okay, so now we're going to use blue orb duplication glitch for the first time. Basically, when we tap rewind, we rewind for almost no time, but we respawn the corpses of those spawners, and they will drop more blue orbs. So just make sure you wait until you've picked up both blue orbs to do it. So there you saw we got 2 extra off of that than we should have. Now we're going to position ourselves here in this corner, and ideally we're going to whirlwind directly into the corner once, turn to the left, and whirlwind 2 to 3 more times. And if that works, we'll end up on the other side of the door. If it doesn't, we will end up stuck inside of the door, which is why we got so many extra rewinds. So we'll go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it works. I will go ahead and show you what it looks like when it doesn't work. So here's what happens when you get stuck inside the door. You can see I can't move very far right or left. And be careful, the enemies can hit you through the door here. Like that. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get out of here, although usually we can't. There we go. So your best bet to getting out of there is not to do it in a straight line, but to go this diagonal and that diagonal back and forth in between your whirlwinds. I wish you the best of luck with that skip. I've pretty much given you all of the advice I can. Sometimes it works and sometimes it just completely ruins your run near the end. So I'll leave it up to you to see if you can find a better way. There's a neat little trick you can do right here. I don't know if I'll be able to get it. Hey, I did get it. So you can do a wall jump there, and if you do it correctly, you can actually jump over the fence. But I usually just wall run right there. It doesn't waste much time, and it's safer. So when you land on this platform, don't move. Line the prince's head up with the right edge of that cutout in the wall, just like this. The line that signifies the right edge is directly in the center of the prince's head. Freeze water and press forwards and jump at the same time, and if you do it right, You'll land down here without dying. That skips quite a bit. But we did skip a load trigger in doing that, so we have to run over here to this curtain to spawn everything. First we'll take out the giant. Also, you can reset that checkpoint back there if you want to make sure you have enough ice for this. But if I run out, I'll just kill one of the spawners to get more. You might notice we have an upgrade available. We're actually not going to take any more upgrades for quite a while. We're going to wait until we have 5 for our next one. And for some reason the prince is refusing to let me do this. There we go. Just goes to show you how important it is to reset checkpoints regularly. So once these birds spawn, we're actually going to abuse a little bit of an oversight in the way the birds work. We can actually reach that one from way down here without doing any of the platforming in this area. Just like that. You can jump from pretty much anywhere in the fighting area and get to that guy. So this is a little bit of a back and forth between memory and water, and that is what happens when you try and go through it too fast. So right here, sometimes the prince will just refuse to wall run right there, and he'll just stand there, and since you're holding the forward direction, he'll just fall off the ledge. And then when you're wall running on this sliding puzzle, sometimes again the prince will just refuse to wall run. I don't know what it is about this area that causes that, but do not come into here without rewinds, because it can be the end of your run. Don't use this curtain at the end, it's unnecessary. So we're going to run over here. We're going to use ice to keep these charging enemies stunned down so that they can't get us. Well, I was going to, and then the enemies made me fall all over myself. Then we'll take care of the giant. So once that's taken care of, that guy spawns, and instead of doing all the platforming in this level, we're just going to do this. And somehow he threw a post-mortem grenade, which is extremely unfortunate because now he's dead. But apparently we got the checkpoint up here, so that works. This is where we were climbing up. Anyway, we're just going to skip by all these enemies. If you don't have 2 energy, go ahead and reset here for safety. Unfortunately, it spawns you on that side of the stairs if you reset, but we'll just go ahead and skip the cutscene. You want to solidify these pillars and do a wall jump to get to them. Now head left. This skip, if it worked, would save a lot of time. But this door the door behind that statue, you can clip through it, but my god is it difficult. So it's not worth trying to do in a run, because you would waste way more time than it would save by the time you got it, most likely. But you can also clip into the base of the statue, and you can almost jump to the checkpoint trigger in the other room, but you can't quite make it. So definitely investigate that for yourself, see if you can come up with any clever ideas on how to make it work. After we open the door, we freeze water, and on your way back, make sure to press the memory button to get rid of those pillars like that, so you can fall through them. Otherwise, you might not make it over here in time. So we now have our fancy genie killing sword. Now we have to go talk to Razia and convince her to hop inside of it. As you do. As you saw, I specifically jumped early to get on the right side of that beam so that I would be placed away from where the axes were. Here we are at our final portal. We're going to go stuff a genie inside our sword and become extremely overpowered. And I will see you in the next video, in which we will beat the game.